Hello everyone, it's Nen from Insightful Vibrations. Thank you so much for tuning into this channel. Thank you for subscribing, and if you haven't already, please take a moment to do so. Thank you also for liking the videos. It really helps me to understand which week you liked better than the last, etc., and it helps me improve the content and delivery of these videos. Now we are talking about July 17th to 23rd, 2017, and as usual I will begin with the forecast for all of us. We all have a lot more in common than we think about on a daily basis. We are all connected in this matrix of energy, and therefore it's important for us to know what kinds of things come up in common. And as usual, I will discuss the astrological events that I feel are significant this week, but I've also pulled out 3 cards from the Shining Angels deck, which is a round tarot deck that also has considered angelic energies in the cards. It's really a lovely deck. And then I also will talk about the new moon, because everything sort of culminates on Sunday when we have the new moon. All right, so beginning with what is going on energetically, we have the fire element strong all week, as it was last week, and for some time, in fact. We have Uranus still in Aries, we have Sagittarius still hosting Saturn, and then we have Leo hosting the Sun, Moon, and Mercury. So a lot of fire energy going on this week. We also have Uranus aligning with the star set Great Andromeda Nebula from 27 to 28 degrees Aries. And I mentioned this last week, where we may have a lot of transportation disasters, attacks, violence, famines, things like that. And it's really unfortunate, but we've already heard quite a bit on the news about planes that have had failures and near misses and things like that. So I hope those pilots are also listening to these forecasts and know which times are especially precarious from an energy standpoint. Now, we also have the moon lining up with starset Aludra this week at 27 degrees Cancer, and then it culminates at 0 degrees Leo, where we'll have the new moon as well as on Sunday at 0 degrees Leo. And there, you know, this is not a really nice thing, unfortunately. A lot of fires occurs under these stars, and of course right now in a number of parts of the world there are some huge ravaging fires going on, so it's really unfortunate, but you can see how this is all linked astrologically. We also may have storms, you know, problems with ships, trains, and other transportation. There also may be, you know, invasions, battles, and things like that, possibly even assassination. So this alignment, you know, is not a pleasant one. It certainly causes a lot of emotionality, and if you're not personally affected by these on a physical or emotional level, you certainly will be affected when you hear about things on the news, unfortunately. And then the sun and the moon are aligned with star set Tegman at 0 degrees Leo, and you know, again, this is really one where there's possible danger from more fiery types of things, including explosions. There could be gas explosions, there could be all kinds of things. But I also feel that with this alignment too, we have to protect our children very well and remind our children, you know, of how to behave when they're approached by strangers, because there is some hazard of children not being safe under this alignment. And we have Mercury in the North Node aligning in Subra. That star set is also going to be in the fiery sign of Leo at 24 to 27 degrees. And basically what happens here is a lot of intolerance. You know, it could be you know, just you know, hate crimes and things like that that you see, but it also again points to some very, very nasty energies like assassinations, beheadings, and things like that. But also again, it fortifies that fire energy, and the storms and fires are definitely prevalent with this kind of alignment. We also have Jupiter aligning with Algorab, and that's in Libra, and of course air just fuels fire, so we're not getting anything less here. We're just getting a different kind of an issue coming up. And with this, you may have issues with smoke inhalation. any kind of gas hazards like carbon monoxide poisoning, things like that. So it's very, very, kind of air plus fire energy acting here. And we also have the possibility of storms, and really kind of rainstorms and windstorms, that kind of thing. Possibly a lot of fog, and possibly pollution or dust creating storms as well. Now, we also have here, unfortunately, possibility of some nasty, violent, events like assassinations and other things. So, again, we're not dealing with people who are kind and loving in these energies. We're dealing with people who just love to cause strife to people at no cost. They'll do anything to create problems, and that's what we see in that sort of terroristic mindset, where there's just this pleasure in seeing people suffer. And that, unfortunately, is another one of those stars that plays itself out this week. We also have Saturn aligning itself with Wadrick. And this is also a star that asks us to be careful, because any kind of neglect in our duties, any kind, lack of due diligence, even things like, driving while we're asleep or working while we're half dozy, or that kind of thing can happen here. So basically, this could involve any kind of dangers or accidents resulting from carelessness, essentially, and sometimes even being cocky and overconfident. So definitely, if you're not in a position to drive or operate a motor vehicle or a boat or anything else, definitely don't even try it. This is not a week to test your cockiness and overconfidence. And we also have Pluto aligning itself with star set Vega, and Vega can also fortify that sort of danger of violence, especially with Pluto. They're stirring things up. It can also talk about invasions, kidnapping, and just war and battles generally. So again, we have that energy that can support all of those things coming up. And again, this week we have the south node of the moon, which is a calculated point, and that's aligned with the star set Saddlesuit. And basically what we have here again is, fires, storms of all kinds. We have possible atrocities due to violence on a mass scale. We possibly have, mobs, riots, looting, that kind of thing as well as you may again see, in the news, beheadings and assassinations. But, again, we have to just hold in our thoughts that these things will not happen to us. I think that's the way we try to put it into an irrelevant universe and let it just drift off into the cosmos to be replenished by true, pure, loving white light. And then, hopefully if we can maintain that thought, this thing won't affect us personally. Neptune is also aligning with star set Satyshbi. Sorry, I'm totally massacred that name, Satyabishai. And it is basically, again, another one where it talks about brutal intolerance, acts of violence, battles of all kinds. But it can also bring disasters such as powerful earthquakes, as well as air fatalities. So, meteor falls have not been unheard of under the energies of this star as well. And I feel as well that there is some real potential with all this fire energy to bring about epidemics of some kind. This could bring, epidemics of fever, because fever is fire, right? So this particularly culminates on Sunday, July 23rd, when we have the new moon at 0 degrees Leo. Now, those of us in the Stony Creek, Ontario area will be just getting onto our day when this new moon comes into place. But, it goes on through the day, of course, so there's other things happening. So we get to Sunday, July 23rd, when the new moon will be in Leo at 0 degrees. And also, it will be hosting the sun at 0 degrees. So Leo is going to be busy. And Leo's also hosting Mars at 1 degree. So there's a lot going on there. Plus, Mercury joins in. and also, just becomes fiery itself. Now, Mars is also squaring Uranus on that day, and this can mean for a host of aggression, but it can also mean breakthrough energy if it's channeled properly. So if you think about what areas of your life are stayed or stagnant, and how you can apply all of the burst of energy that you'll have this week, this is a fantastic thing to do. Channel your energy into a career project, a sport, an art, a hobby of any kind, music, and teach your children to do the same. And I can tell you that you'll make strides in these areas because Mars gives you tremendous energy. Uranus gives you tremendous transformational energy. So a lot of breakthroughs can be possible. And rather than having aggression, conflict, argumentation, and things like that, I feel that you could really use that energy to your benefit. The sun and the moon are also forming lovely angles to Chiron, and this bodes well for caring, compassion, empathy, and it's also particularly useful this week for healing mental illnesses, emotional illnesses, and spiritual imbalances. So great week for all of that. Now, later on the day of the new moon at about 6:36 Ontario time, we have a grand fire trine happening. So also, Saturn, Uranus, and North Node are in fire signs. So we need to keep in mind that this whole week is going to be an abundance of energy. Let's make it positive energy and not negative energy. Stay away from people who can produce conflict or engage you in conflict. Stay away from areas of conflict if you're traveling. And, if you're just bored and it's summer vacation, and this applies especially to children and teenagers, make sure that there's plenty of activity to keep everyone busy, because all of us are subject to boredom and can act out. So, not everybody's enlightened and transformed and reformed, and not everybody is conforming to a gentler energy. Everybody has to create that gentler energy for themselves amidst all this turbulence in the skies. So these various configurations are calling for personal transformation. You can stay as is if you wish, because you will have a couple more opportunities this summer. For example, we have the next two moons also in Leo, the next full moon on August the 7th, as well as the next new moon after this one on August the 21st, when we'll also see a full solar eclipse. So all of that in Leo, plus on each of those days, we will also have more grand fire trines. So motivation, initiative, and transformation have never been better supported, and this is your summer. Now keep in mind that the best time to take action is on the eve of the new moon, the day of the new moon, and within 2 weeks of it. So about August 7th is when you see a dissipation of the supportive energies. And new moons are about new starts. And again, you can stay as is, or you could make a fresh start. And that fresh start can lead you to leadership. It can lead you to fame. It can lead you to all kinds of good and promising things. So I definitely think for those of you who do need a new start, this is a great new moon for you on July 23rd. But also keep in mind that until then, we are in a waning moon situation. So the moon's energies are decreasing. And then, of course, at the new moon, they start rebuilding. So what this means is that any kind of elimination or reduction activities are favored. So if you don't want your hair to grow back as fast after your haircut, this is a good waning moon period for you to get your haircut. And, similarly, if you're unfortunate enough to have to cut your workforce or something, if you're in that position to make that decision, you'd best be doing it during a waning moon phase. It is more supportive of that, and there are fewer negative repercussions and consequences. And similarly for dieting, if you are trying to, change your, eating habits and eat less, for example, then this is a reduction activity. So definitely the waning moon period up until the next full moon is very supportive for you. So that's how the planets are sized up. Please stay tuned for your zodiac sign forecast next. And please remember to watch the videos for your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign, as these will collectively give you a comprehensive picture of what lies ahead this week. Also, I would like to remind remind everyone that not all comments apply to all people, because there are millions of Aries, Tauruses, Geminis, etc., and we cannot speak without an individual reading to all of those people. But generally, you'll get an idea of what's going on, and when things resonate with you, you'll know you need to pay attention and pay heed and take some steps to prevent negative things from happening, but also take steps to ensure that positive things happen. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and thank you for watching. Hello Aries, Sun, Sun, Moon, Sun, Rising Sign folks. It's your forecast for July 17th to 23rd, 2017, using the Linda Goodman Astrology deck this week. I have drawn 3 cards for you: Uranus, Communication, and Jupiter. Uranus talks about transformation, and you could see from the foreground of the card that it's all gloomy and gray and uncertain, and there looks like there's devastation in the wake with that tower toppling. However, look at the background. The background has the sun coming through and peering over what were once ominous clouds. The clouds that are coming up are orange. It's clouds and color of creativity. So basically what this is saying is that this isn't a bad transformation. It may be an unexpected set of circumstances that catches you off guard this week, or you yourself may catapult some kind of transformation. But I do feel that with the Communication and Jupiter cards right next to that card, that everything is for the better. That the rainbows are coming through, as you can see in the Communication card. And the Communication card is a mercurial card, so ruled by Mercury. So what does Mercury rule? It rules our thoughts. It rules problem solving. It rules creativity. So let's get some creative, answers here to any of life's dilemmas that are perplexing you this week. Put your head, into that mode where you're really thinking of creative solutions, and you will probably come out just fine. Then we have Jupiter, and Jupiter is the planet of benevolence. It's sort of our Santa Claus planet, and it has a way of expanding things. It has a way of expanding, the goodness around us. And with it being next to a positive card, it's expanding goodness for sure, as opposed to expanding something that's not so pleasant. However, if you don't accept the gift of change, Jupiter also can turn ugly, so it won't be as supportive for you. So you really need to embrace whatever change is happening this week, Aries. I'm feeling it for you on 3 levels. 1, I'm feeling it for you on partnership levels. Whether this is a business partnership or a personal partnership of some kind, such as a romance, a marriage, a common law relationship, whatever it is, if you happen to engage in change of that relationship in any way, I feel that ultimately things will work out very well for you, so don't worry about it. And also, worry is like a prayer for what you don't want. So you definitely will just bring more energy that you don't want. So the best thing is to think positively through any change. And the other thing that may happen here is you may have to deal with insurance, regulatory matters, licenses, anything that has to do with other people's money or joint resources. So that may also endure some kind of change this week. And we also have legal matters coming up to the forefront, as well as long-distance education, long-distance travel, and long-distance relocation. But also, for some of you, there will be a very, very spiritual week where you may have a sudden epiphany of some kind. You may have a sudden breakthrough spiritually. Perhaps you're taking a mediumship course, and this is the week where everything sort of gels. And of course, with Neptune still being in retrograde phase, this is really absolutely a fabulous time for that to happen. For some of you, it will be more about coming to terms with something. It could be coming to terms with yourself on a spiritual level. Looking at what kinds of self-transformation issues there may be, even if there is no change thrust upon you. Perhaps you will be the one that will look at that. So I feel, Aries, that there's a lot happening this week, and for most of you, it will be a week of transformation. But I do feel that you'll come out all rosy, and I wish you a great week.